a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about regarding Modern Warfare, and there's a lot of stuff coming up here up on the channel that we'll be having general discussions of and breaking things down over the next couple of weeks and everything leading up until the beta. But the one thing that as of recently we got some more information on, and I never really shared my initial thoughts on, was that of operators within Modern Warfare, how they work, how customization will work, and everything in between. So today I want to take a little bit of time and dissect all of that and bring you guys all the information you need to know, how these systems will work, how they'll alter your gameplay, if at all, and again, everything in between. So that's what we're going to be discussing here today. And of course, if there's anything you want to discuss in the future, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, maybe considering that subscribe button. With 63% of viewers not subscribed, I'd like to keep you guys as much in the loop as possible. So the content will still be here, daily uploads on all things Call of Duty. But if you're interested, the option is there. But that said, let's talk a little bit about operators. First things first, when we talk about this kind of stuff, is a flashback probably to Specialists, a hero-based system that we saw within Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, and Black Ops 4. Is it something that we'll be seeing a return to anything of how that was handled at that point? The answer, which is great, is no. Operators in Modern Warfare are purely cosmetic. There is nothing specialist-wise that will be making its way into the game, no specialist changes or anything that gives any sort of advantage. No operator is going to be pulling out an Annihilator that's a one-shot pistol. There's no explosive tip bow and arrow type of get-up. It's all simply cosmetic. They're the real article. What you see is what you get. What is cool though, at least on my end and for a lot of other story geeks out there, what's cool is despite not having any gameplay changes, there will be backstories for each of the specialists available, like how there have been in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, with the backstories that happen in the universe of multiplayer. So we could see some cool theories coming together and maybe a universe being built outside of campaign, assuming they're not all the same universe like we now kind of see with the Black Ops franchise starting to tether everything together and morphing it into one giant universe with Black Ops 4's storyline crossovers. But at the very basic level here of this, operators are separated into factions. You have Allegiance and the Coalition to start. Those are the two main ones here that we'll see and that we saw not only just out of some of the 2v2 build and everything like that, but also primarily out of the operators that we could visibly see during the reveal and everything that came along with that one. I'll come back to it to reference it because we talk about it a little bit further and a little bit more in depth, but these two are played out like the Axis and Allied powers in World War II, both the real world conflict and of course the playable sides in the recent Call of Duty title. You'll be assigned to either in-game and you'll be thrown in as whatever operator you have selected for that side of the story. You can custom tailor things like your menus and have a default operator like you can in Black Ops 4 currently, but once you're in-game, it comes down to the automatically selected faction and who you have equipped at that time. Now, what's a cool little piece of information that we found out recently thanks to some Game Informer coverage, Modern Warfare is their cover story and cover issue this month, and so they're doing a ton of coverage on Modern Warfare going into the intricacies of the game and everything you can find in between. But out of this, we ended up finding out that they're not going to be all unlocked all at once, whereas say recently Black Ops 4 had every specialist unlocked at level 1, so you could choose and go into the game doing whatever. These actually will be unlock progression based, very similar to say Blackout, where they don't offer anything in the way of specialist abilities like how Black Ops 3 you had to rank up and unlock each of the specialists at certain ranks. It's similar to Blackout though, where you rank up, unlock a new operator that's purely cosmetic and offer no discernible difference in the abilities, but it is still something you have to put the time in to unlock each of those, presumably per prestige. And I mean that every single time you prestige, it will reset and you have to re-unlock them unless you use an unlock token on them. But this reintroduces a grind per operator, something that if you really want to use, say, Kruger, who I think is one of the coolest looking ones here out of that, it's the one that is the fishnet meshing ghillie suit type of deal. If you want to use Kruger, you'll have to probably rank up to get him each prestige, or use, if applicable, a prestige token to unlock him permanently. But that's not the end, because while they are purely cosmetic, that means they're going to have, well, cosmetic changes. We found out a little bit more about this as of recently as well, talking about how the customization for these will work. It is something that the customization will work on a holistic level, something from a top-down perspective that will encompass everything about your operator. That being that it's an operator uniform only customization. There's not going to be any individual parity of items, which can be a good and a bad thing, which we'll discuss that in a little bit further. But if you're looking for the advanced warfare style customization down to the boots, the gloves, the knee pads, and all, You won't be finding that here, unfortunately. But there will be unlockable skins per each operator, and that's something that we know of at the base and the launch version of the game. Not even going out and adding what may be inevitably MTX systems introduced later on in the game, but instead we know a little bit also about the unlockable skins at the base level. It'll be something probably immediately in my mind comparable to what we saw in Black Ops 3 and maybe that grind for hero gear maybe even, but the tentative unlocks are slated now for 8 uniforms per operator according to Game Informer's information and coverage. But it's also not the final number that we're set on. We're not locked at that. There could be more, there could be less. We'll just have to wait and see when the time comes for launch. But so far there are 9 operators plus a default per faction. As we mentioned at the very beginning of the video, there's the Coalition and the Allegiance factions at the top-down perspective. Coalition has 3 operators per 3 tiers, including the SAS, Warcom, and Demon Dogs. The SAS has the operators of Thorn, Charlie, and Otter. Warcom has Domino, Golem, and Wyatt. Demon Dogs has D-Day, Reigns, and Alice. Now, as for the Allegiance, this again has 3 operators per 3 tiers, including the Spetsnaz, Jackal, and Chimera. And yes, the Spets are back again. These are the inner factions that make up the group of the main 2 factions like Axis and Allied Powers. But the Spetsnaz has Bale, Minotaur, and Rodion. Jackal has Azur, Grinch, and Zane. And Chimera end up having Gigor, Kruger, and Sid. So with a target goal of 8 uniforms per every operator, that's a whole lot of customization at its base fundamental levels. 9 operators with 8 uniforms each per faction, that's 72 unlockable uniforms right there for one side. Plus add in that other side, and then that's again 144 at the target base level of unlocks. That is a lot to unlock organically and naturally in-game. That's a lot of grinding to do, assuming there's challenges associated with each of them, up into the point where this actually might be the most unique unlock grind quest that we've seen yet. We have Dark Matter and we've had Hero Gear and everything like that, but those quests had relatively the same outcomes per each challenge on each weapon or on each specialist. You end up having those same 14 or 15 camos to unlock every single time for each weapon, but these look to bring the prospect of each individual challenge for each individual operator being unique with the reward. But that said, that number again is subject to change if those targets are not met. Joel Emsley stressed that he doesn't ever want to make a skin for a character that's sole objective is to fill out a number. Each character skin should have meaning, depth, and reason behind it and be the best quality that it can be, not just simply a skin to get to a specific quota. So our previous calculations of 144 unique operator skins might be a little off once everything is all said and done and when the game finally does launch. I'd be willing to bet these things aren't in the beta. Customization is usually off limits for this. We never really see any camos or anything showcased, so in terms of weapon and operator cosmetics, I wouldn't get my hopes up here in the next couple of weeks to end up seeing too much of that. It'll probably be saved for more so closer to launch, but anyways, it's decent to speculate about that as is. Now, operator customization is admittedly the secondary concern. In these interviews with Joel Emsley and the team and everything talking about operators and the rest of the customization, it was definitely stressed that weapons are the main point of interest and focus when it comes to customization this year, and hence why the gunsmith is absolutely such an in-depth piece of the gameplay, and that makes sense. The most interacted with piece of equipment that you end up using in MP in any of the part of the games is your weapon. So to customize all of that in a first-person perspective, to see those visual changes and to know you're actually making an impact on your weapon, I understand where that's the primary focus here, but even when you consider it, the prospect of 144 unique operator skins at the base launch of the game, that's still pretty fantastic. And again, to reiterate, that's the base of the game. That's stuff that's organic, unlockable to everybody right off the rip. That doesn't even account for further customization, which will more than likely probably inevitably happen here at this one, and pre-orders alone are already something that showcase there being even more on top of this. There are pre-order skins that are out there already in the wild that you'll end up getting for various operators that won't go against this organic earnable system at launch, but instead will be the first DLC skins, if you want to call them that. And I really wouldn't be surprised if this expands greatly during the year. Here's my only issue though, is that of course we're gonna have MTX. It's gonna happen. I'm hyped for the base game, untouched by all this stuff, and I've said this so many times, but come Christmas time, that's probably when they'll change up and do the old switcheroo and add a bunch of stuff in via supply drops or other things like that, in which cosmetics and MTX will just start to ramp up, as we saw with Black Ops 4. But my thing is, if we have uniforms like this, if we have weapon camos that are worthwhile and not filler crap that is absolutely stupid, I won't be as terribly against it. If there's something actually worthwhile that you can either grind out, if again there is that fork in the road, you can buy it or you can grind it out, that's totally fine with me. If there's stat changing weapons solely behind a paywall or behind an RNG wall like that and no organic way to unlock that, not for that at all. That. But anyways, it's looking like we'll still get some stuff outside of the launch and everything, hopefully in a fair manner, but there's a lot up on deck and a lot to process with operators. And honestly, I think I really like how this is going here with this. It has story, it has a backstory and elements to it that make you feel like you can connect with your characters outside of a campaign, which is great. It immerses you more in the universe of Modern Warfare. So I'm all for the backstory and everything, but I love that there's not going to be anything that actually offers any advantage. It's just going to be an even playing ground and some cosmetic changes. That said, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up here at this one. Want to let you guys know about the newer information and also let you guys know about everything else about operators that we haven't yet discussed here on the channel. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to here out of operators? Anything that you still have some questions about? Anything you're skeptical on? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare and all things Call of Duty. Updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. If you guys want to strike up conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, let's send out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.